So I've been playing Neuvillette since its launch, and of course, when Furina came out, I thought they would be perfect together. Even though his passive somewhat makes it clear that at C0, another Hydro unit just won't be that good. But low wise, the synergy just had to make sense. So I tried very different combinations of their team, and I found this team to be the best. I tried Archaic Petra Zhongli instead of Kazuha because Kazuha and Furina like almost provide the same type of buff. So I thought it would be different and it would do well, but no. The highest damage I could get with Neuvillette and Furina was with Kazuha. You could also do Jean here and then replace Charlotte with something else, like maybe even Zhongli here, and do a Crystallize, a Swirl with Jean, and then you'll have two reactions. That doesn't do as much damage as I hoped it would. And Charlotte and Jean have very similar healing. I think the numbers are almost identical, even their cooldowns and their energy costs. So it's pretty much the same, but I think Jean is better because her elemental skill is just easier to use. It has less cooldown, so you could switch back into Jean and then use it more often, whereas Charlotte has a very big cooldown. But of course, Kazuha is very good in this team. So if you want to play Kazuha, you need Charlotte. You cannot just put Jean here because it'll be the same reaction, and Neuvillette needs different reactions. So I tried this mix up. Yeah. So as you can see, the highest damage that I could do was around 43 there. And it is quite good. But whenever I tried this team, and this was the highest damage that I could get with a C0 Furina and a C0 Neuvillette, I always was confused because before getting Furina, I was playing with the same build on Neuvillette and of course a different team. So this was the team that I preferred. You could switch Raiden out for anybody else like Nahida or even Kuki. At some points, I have used that when I thought I needed healing. You usually don't because Zhongli is like pretty safe. And this team is essentially the same investment value. Like you could replace this with a 4-star. And it's basically the same team, right? Even though I think this one is better to play than the one with Furina because you have to pay attention to a lot of things like Furina's ultimate and then getting Charlotte's ultimate back, which I don't know if it's my build, but it does seem a little bit harder to get her ultimate back on Charlotte in most team rotations. And in this team, you don't have to worry about anyone's ultimate. All you need is their elemental skills to create a hydro reaction that synergize with Neuvillette. So it's a lot more comfortable is what my point is. Even though I'm not saying that the Charlotte team is bad per se, like if you build it in a way that you don't have the same problem that I do of getting enough energy into Charlotte and Furina so that you could use their ultimates on cooldown. My point is that you need their ultimates to do the max damage in that team. But if you use this team for Neuvillette, you don't need that. All you need is elemental skills. So now what was the max damage that I could do with this team? There you go with Swirl. There you go with Crystallize, Electrocharge, and 49,000. That's the highest you could get if you use this team at its highest potential. When you trigger all the reactions with their elemental skills, which as I said earlier is a lot easier, you get 49,000 damage ticks. That just got me thinking, does that mean that Furina and Neuvillette, especially Neuvillette at C0, do they have bad synergy? And you could say that in a way, Neuvillette's highest damage potential, you just won't reach it with a Furina team. I've tried different combinations. If you know a combination that does more damage than using 3 different units that could trigger a hydro reaction, let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just haven't tried everything. So just judging by that, you could say that yes, Neuvillette just doesn't do that much damage. But there is one significant difference. Even though with Furina team you won't get to your highest damage potential with Neuvillette, there's one thing that I'm not adding into that equation is the fact that Furina herself does a lot of damage. Furina's damage from a field in this team when you replace Zhongli with Charlotte is nothing to scoff at. She does a lot of damage. Even though Neuvillette could reach like 42, 43, even 44,000 ticks if you have 300 fanfare, it doesn't change the fact that Furina does so much damage that it overcompensates for the 6,000 damage loss that I was taking in my Neuvillette build. When I use the other team without Furina, I can reach 49,000 ticks, that's true. But then I lose out on a lot of damage. Then Neuvillette is the only damage source. Neuvillette is sort of the hyper carry in that team. But with this team, Furina helps out a lot. And my Furina is not even that good. I don't even have her elemental skill maxed out yet because I only had enough to crown one of her talents, and I figured it was the best to just level up her burst first and then go for her damage. And if you look at her skill attributes, it's not that good. I could improve this by a lot. This might seem like it's very bad, but it's not that bad because I'm using the fish weapon. It has 16% crit rate on her elemental skill, which is the only damage that she does. I mean, only considerable damage that she does. This number is essentially 65%, and even my energy recharge gets a good bump whenever I use my elemental skill. But like I said, most people have a better built Furina at C0. So your Furina could even do more damage than mine. And that's where I think the difference is. That's why the Neuvillette and Furina teams work. You won't see the highest damage with Furina, especially if you're playing him at C0. Once you have C1, it's gonna be amazing with Furina. I was having second thoughts on playing her with Furina because I just wasn't seeing the highest numbers. I just wasn't factoring in the fact that Furina herself does a lot of damage. So I definitely think that this team is better, even though Neuvillette doesn't reach his highest damage potential. If I had to clear content and I was looking for my highest damage team, this is the team that I would pick for Neuvillette.